Hi friends. Today I want to talk to you briefly about women in the Gospel of Mark. If you've been paying careful attention to the story up to this point, you'll note that we have seen many women lifted up in the text of Mark's narrative thus far. Most women in Mark's narrative are not named, with the exception of a few like Mary and Herodias, but for the most part, they're unnamed, and they're seemingly minor characters in the story, except for the fact that they play really major roles in Jesus' teaching about what it means to be followers of the way. Think of the incredible role that women have played thus far in the narrative. For example, the Syrophoenician woman who argues with Jesus and prevails. The only person to do that, by the way. And she changes Jesus' mind about what it means to provide healing for Gentiles. This is a critical feature in Mark's day as the church is turning toward a Gentile mission. It's becoming more and more a Gentile. And it was a woman who does this in Mark's gospel. And then think back to last week's exploration of the little apocalypse in Mark. If you remember, that apocalypse is framed on one side that you saw 2 weeks ago, and on another side that you'll see this week, by women. First, before he enters into this apocalyptic discourse, there's the scene at the temple treasury where the wealthy are putting in their enormous amounts of money, being very impressive, and then this poor woman comes and drops in what is just a pittance, just a tiny amount of money. And Jesus points to her and says she has given more than all of these others. In fact, she has given her whole life. A key phrase here to indicate that she is the exemplar of what it means to follow in the way. Then on the other side of the apocalyptic narrative, we have a wealthy woman, also unnamed. It's a very interesting story that we'll get into in this week's exploration. But this woman breaks an expensive jar of imported perfume and anoints Jesus's head with it. This is a jar of perfume worth about a year's worth of wages. And people in the room say, why is she doing this? This shouldn't be what this extravagant amount of money should be used for. It should be used to take care of the poor, which was according to the religious teachings of the day. But Jesus said, this woman is doing what is right in this situation. She's doing a good work for me. And wherever the gospel is proclaimed, her story will be told. Again, an unnamed woman making an extravagant gift of devotion to Jesus, and he lifts her up as an exemplar of faith. And then, at the very end, we'll come to in 2 weeks, when we get to the Easter text in Mark's gospel, it is again women who take the primary role as the actors in the text. Women who come to the tomb at some risk to themselves to anoint Jesus' body. Even more significantly, those women were present at the crucifixion, also at risk to themselves, when all of the male disciples, whose names we know, had fled in fear. So I give you this recounting of Mark's story of these seemingly minor characters to help you to pay attention to the ways that women show up in the text, even though they are unnamed, as exemplars of what it means to be followers of the way. They are primary characters, even though we don't usually know their names.